We're back in the building. And folks, episode 142 is here. We're ready to get this thing going. Season 5 of the Be More Today show is here. And it's been a labor of love, but a labor that's been so fulfilling. Talking about our steps to greatness, our Be More Today challenges, and all things related to being more in 24. As you already know, BeMoreToday.com has all your things for my book, our podcast, which is now heard in 82 countries, over 58,000 downloads. Again, thanks to your love and support, this show continues to grow and inspire others to be great at whatever they're doing. So thank you for supporting. It does not go unnoticed. My quote for today is simple as always. Commitment separates those who live their dreams from those who live life regretting the opportunities they squandered, by Bill Russell, the late legendary great Bill Russell basketball player, talking about commitment. And I think we all have dreams. We talk about things we want to do, whether it's physical dreams, in terms of running, or just in terms of our professions, our lives, our things we want to do with our families. We have dreams that we want to get done. And fulfilling those dreams is something that we talk about. Maybe we write down, maybe you scrapbook, maybe you write it after you have a dream at night, you write it in the morning, etc. But there are so many things that people lack when it comes to regretting those things and the opportunities that are out there to go out there and live those things and make those dreams reality. I think about Kobe Bryant. I think about so many others who were big dreamers, right? Who said what they wanted to do. They went out there and they did those things. And Bill Russell was someone who also one of the greatest champions in basketball history to go out there and say, let me be the first to go out here and be legendary. Let me be the first out here to go out here and win so many rings that they're going to talk about me forever, based on what I did. And I'm sure he had dreams to be great, but living out that thing and reminding himself what that dream is and not letting the little things that come in life that can easily distract us and take us away from those dreams makes that dream possible. For me, last year it was the dream of breaking my own personal best, and I wanted to run 3:45, and I ran 3:42 in Berlin. And the group I have on today's show embodies what I believe dreamers should be aspiring to be. A group of people who come together, they help you to get their dreams or your dreams into fruition, and they show you that anything can be possible if you put in hard work and dedication and make that dream a reality. And the group I have on today's show, as we continue to highlight the amazing run clubs in New York City, Bedstuy Flyers. Now, this group is very special to me because I train with them. I've been training with them for about a year or so now, on and off. I kind of got pulled in, and we'll talk more about that during the show. But Bedstuy Flyers was created as a way for people of various backgrounds and abilities to share space, work hard, have fun, and always uplift each other along the way. They believe that running should be accessible, safe, and equitable in Bed-Stuy, Bedford-Stuyvesant, and beyond. They have members at all levels, for those who walk the track, and multiple marathon finishers. And you can join them for free group runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They have two coaches, Tara Mardigan and Nick Collins. Tara, who I know very, very well. She's been on the show in the past talking about her book. She's a certified RRCA coach and a nutritionist. And she does so many things. She's been great. And Nick Collins, who I love and adore, also one of their RRCA coaches, does so many things in the community and also runs one of the other groups, Crown Heights Running Club. So today we have Tara on the show along with two Bedstuy Flyer members, Geraldine and Robin. So Tara, Geraldine, and Robin, ladies, welcome to Be More Today show. What is going on?
Go ahead, Geraldine.
Oh, wow, me first. Oh, hi, how are you guys? Thank you so much for having me on your show. I have been with the Bedstuy Flyers for a little bit after 2021 or so. I'm just going to share about my experience with the Bedstuy Flyers and how wonderful it is, if you wouldn't mind. And I found that when I joined it, it actually was the first real group that I've joined. Normally, I was pretty much a solo runner or so. Then after COVID, there weren't that many people who had remained who I used to like either run or see running or so. And I just wanted community. And that's what I got from Bedstuy Flyers. Tara's just a wonderful leader, as well as Nick. And it's been more like friendship too. So it's not only meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays for running, but also like I got COVID for one of my one of my marathons when I was training. And literally, Tara was like, wait a minute, I'm coming over. I'm giving you things. I mean, safely, of course she did. But she was like, I'm giving you things. I mean, what didn't she provide for me? It was from mint chocolate chip ice cream that was vegan, all the way down to all the vitamins and nutrients I needed, which was amazing because I was literally, it was isolating time for me. I was really feeling alone and everything, and worrying about how I'd be able to get back to training, but she was there throughout. So I think it's almost like a holistic group in terms of it's not only about, hey, meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays, but also throughout.
That's amazing. And you know, one of the things that I think, and we're gonna kind of highlight Tara a little bit. She could probably get a little jealous and a little shy about this, but I think she's one of the people that, you know, it's not surprising that she came over to your house and gave you that. Like that's that kind of person she is, right? She's super sentimental and super caring in that regard. And as I've come to a number of the practices you guys have, we have at Boys and Girls, the camaraderie is there, but also that loving touch and friendship is there from her, and it's consistent. Whether it's Tuesday and it's raining, it's cold, you know, it's dark, whatever else, she's consistent in giving that same kind of love and care. And I think all the athletes who are part of Bedstuy Flyers see that and they appreciate that. So not surprised at all she came to your house and took care of you like a mom would, because that's exactly what Tara does. So that's awesome. That's
It's always
awesome.
been my dream to be a mom, so.
So Tara also came to my house when I had COVID. There's a pattern here. She brought me a mug of tea and some food. I do have two boys at home, and she's always like offering to like, let me take the kids for a bike ride, let me hang out with them. And I think really is our mom in the club.
I am a mom.
Yeah, yes. I joined Bedstuy Flyers in 2019. I came to running, I think, pretty late in life. I grew up as a dancer, but I could never run. I didn't have the stamina. I was the kid that could not finish the mile in gym class. And I was always very sensitive about it. Like, this is something I can't do. And after my second son was born, I came down actually with a horrible case of shingles. I was so stressed. I was in a lot of pain. I was not taking good care of myself. I was working hard and trying to be a parent. So I decided I needed to challenge myself, and I thought, and take care of myself. And I thought, what's the hardest thing I can do? And it's learn to run. And so for a few years, I started running in 2017. I was always too scared to run with a group because I thought, I'm not going to be fast enough. I'm not going to be good enough. I'm not a real runner. And slowly worked my way up. I did a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon. And then, surprise, in 2019, I, on a whim, entered the New York City Marathon Lottery and got in on my first try and thought, oh no, what did I do? I think I learned about Bedstuy Flyers on a local Facebook group and had a friend who was also a mom who happened to go and reported back that the folks were nice and not intimidating. So I joined, I think in June 2019. I'd never done a track workout. You know, I was like, what's a 400? What's a 200? Had no experience. And just from that first day, felt super welcomed, not at all intimidated. And, you know, to echo Geraldine, it's become a group of close friends. We support each other, we socialize together. And I've just learned so much as a runner from working with other folks. And now, like, you know, I don't ever want to do a long run without my Bedstuy Flyers because it's so boring. Running with people makes the time go by so fast, and it's just such a joyful place. And it's, you know, it's great to be able to have a run club to walk to. I live in Bedstuy. I've lived in Bedstuy for 14 years now, and to have that community around the corner is just great.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Robin, I completely agree with you about the community aspect. I, for a long time, ran with a different track club. I mean, I run a track club also, and we meet in various places that are nowhere close to my house, right? So we meet at Barclays, and we meet where I am now, which is in Georgetown, which is like South Brooklyn. I meet nowhere by my house. So when I would practice by myself at Boys and Girls, I'd be by myself because that's what's close for me. And that's how I ran into Tara, because I would see you guys practicing, and you know, for me, waking up early was easy because I can go out there before my daughter gets up and run. But like you said, not running with someone is tough, especially if you're a new runner or a novice runner. So having that community is great. And the only reason I was able to become a part of the Tuesday group, because literally Tara was like, "What are you doing? Like, I see you running here every Tuesday. Why don't you just like run with us? You know, do what we're doing." And slowly but surely, I said, "Let's do this." And I began coming at the time you guys came and doing those same workouts. And the same as you, that community aspect is just, it's so welcoming and it's so inviting and it's so friendly. And yes, it's Tara and it's Nick, but I think it's also the members of your club. I mean, everyone who I've met in that club, in your club, is nice. Even the new people who come for the first time, whether they're coming, like you said, on Facebook or other places, they come in and they're very welcoming and very humble in terms of being a part of the bigger collective. And I just think it shows so many things about the tutelage there, about the leadership there, and about the culture there that is top notch. And Bedstuy Flyers is a special place for me because it's I live in Bed-Stuy, and Geraldine, I've seen you walk into work, you've seen me walk into work, so we're neighbors. And Robin, for me and you, I had a chance to connect with you when you were injured for a little bit, and for me that's beautiful because now we get a chance to talk about other things outside of the run club. And I know you guys meet other days, but it's those kind of things that I think make the run club special, and not every run club has that. So what you guys have is very, very special, very, very special.
Yeah, I'll add to that. That meant a lot to me. So I'll get into this more perhaps later in the podcast. But last year I got a stress fracture and in my foot, and it was very, very hard physically and emotionally. And what I decided to do, partially because I had FOMO and I missed my friends, was I would come to the track workout and I would do planks and push-ups one-footed because I couldn't put weight on my foot, just to be with the group. And like, this is a great example. You were there and like literally cheering me on every day. How are you doing? What exercises are you doing? And it was important to me to stay with the group and, be supported during that time. It really meant a lot.
Yeah, and it was beautiful when I actually saw you, because I was away for a little bit and I came back and you were running. I was like, oh, hey, let's go. Let's get this going. So yeah, I think that same excitement is there because again, there's a family or familiar aspect to it, and it comes from the top down. So we have to go to the coach now and just talk to her. And not Tara, I've had you on the show before. We talked about the book, we talked about nutrition. It was a great show, and people learned a lot about you and about what inspired you to start Bedstuy Flyers, even in your midst of transitioning from Boston and all kinds of other things. And I'm just curious now, as you look at the club and where the club has come from and where the club is going, how do you feel? How do you feel that you've been a part of this niche now that is in Brooklyn, that's in Bed-Stuy, that is a real community of people that come together? And what are your thoughts on what's made it so successful in the last couple of years?
Shoot, I thought I was gonna just sit back. You guys were doing a nice job. So I think first of all, thanks for having us on. This is just a really fun opportunity to share a bit about our club. I think back to a conversation with one of our friends and runners, Nina. Shout out to Nina. And I think it was this fall on a Thursday run, and she was running next to me, and she said something to me that will just stay in my mind. And it speaks to what you're getting at here. She said, Tara, do you ever just stop and say, wow, look what I've done, look what and it's we, I certainly didn't do anything alone, but that sometimes I tend to forget about, but that was a really special conversation with one of the runners who was just like, she said, I can't be here all the time, but when I am here, I am just taken aback by how it's grown and how, just how positive and supportive everybody is. And that meant a lot to me. As far as how, I really think good people attract good people. It's as simple as that. And I'm not talking about myself or Nick. I'm talking about the members that show up and perhaps speak about it, or, I will put Robin on a pedestal for a very hot minute here, because when people reach out to me through the website, there's a spot on the website that you can click and it comes to my email. What do I need to do to join and all this, and it's Robin has created the website, so she's really put us out there in a way that has been so helpful. You know, it's just really, the website has been a big part of our growth. So, you know, word of mouth is one thing, but just having people be able to search. And then I think consistency is the other part of the equation. So we don't do a lot of like special fancy runs or events or, you know, anything. I like to pride myself on the consistency of we're going to be there, you know, unless there's a snowstorm or something that closes the track. But even then we try to do a backup workout if it's smart. So I think a big part of the growth is just the consistency too, and it might be a bit boring, but I think it's one of the recipes for continued success. So that, and then good people just attract good people. So I don't think there's anything special going on other than the fact that we're just kind of go with it. We just have something that seems to work, and we're just building.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm on the Instagram all the time, always trying to see what the workout's gonna be for the next day. And even that by itself is inspiring because it gets you mentally prepared for what's happening. And there are a number of days where I'm like, what I'm supposed to be doing on this day isn't gonna be as hard as this. So let me just do what they're doing, because that's gonna be a better workout. Or like you said, on days where, you know, the weather is kind of challenging or questionable, and they're still opposed being like, yeah, we're going to be here. And people show up in the rain, they show up in the snow. I mean, I came on workout when the track was closed and we were running around the building on the street, you know, in front of the subway station, but people were still doing it. And you know, I think again, this goes well back to my days as a high school, college athlete. Practice is going down no matter what. Like you're gonna come for practice, and the coach is gonna be there. The coaches are gonna show up, and Tara, you and Nick, you show up, and I think that's part of the reason why others show up, because they know you're gonna be there, whether it's rain, whether it's sleet, whether it's snow. You're gonna be there, and you're gonna say, you know what, guys, let's go get this done, and that inspires people. That inspires people to say, you know what, I don't want to be out here, but I know Tara's gonna be there. So, and she's probably gonna be like, yo, where were you at? So I gotta show up. And
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I just to say, I think I have it easiest. I think Nick and I have it the easiest because we have to be there. So I am inspired by everybody that shows up when they don't have to be there. You know, they didn't pay anything, they didn't do. So it's funny that you say that, because I've said this to Nick. I'm like, you and I have it easy. We don't have a choice. We just go. So yeah, I am really inspired by people that show up on those days that are so dark, so cold, so windy, so whatever, so hot, you know, and just getting it done because they know somebody else is going to be there. So
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the demographic of your club, because every time I've come, especially this year, there's been someone new there, a new person, 1-2 people, but always someone new coming in. And first of all, that's incredible, right? To have that open window of people checking out the club. But then I look around the group and it's very, very diverse in terms of age, in terms of diversity. So what's the average age of the members in the group, their demographics, diversity wise? Are there membership fees? What are some more details you can give us about Bedstuy Flyers?
I'll start with saying we don't have membership dues or fees. So we are free. I think I spoke to you about this in the other podcast, but I really feel like it's for me personally, it's just an important way to contribute to my community. So and a lot of people will say, well, you should change that. You should charge a fee, or you could be making money off of this, and that's not what it's about for me. And I don't plan on doing anything different with that. I really I'm someone who I don't know. I have these stories that stick in my mind. I mentioned Nina before, but I did have a mom and her son show up to the track. They were similarly. They were doing their own thing. The young boy was running by himself or trying to run or walk, and I approached the mom and said, is that your son? And she said, yes. And I said, can I run with him? And she was like, oh, you couldn't try, but I don't know that he will because he's very shy. So long story short, he and I introduced myself and we started sprinting and then walking, as you do with a with a young one. But I had a great conversation with them at the end of this. And this was after Bedstuy Flyers workout had happened. I was doing my own work on the track. And she said, well, we can't join because we're not able to afford it. And I said, no, it's free. And just that moment of being able to be accessible. You know, the kid was so excited. The mother was like in shock. And that moment just stays with me too, where I was like, yeah, you know, maybe they can't come all the time because of their schedule, but they know that we're here. And you know, the kid was welcomed like a rock star, right? Because we don't get so many, you know, 9-year-old kids. I think Robin's son befriended him, like they became friends. And that is another moment that just makes me think like, okay, this is how I want to do this. It seems to work. You know, we can't do a lot of things that perhaps other clubs do, but that's okay. We're doing some really good stuff. So, and I forget what you asked.
Yeah, no membership fee, just the age.
Oh, the age.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I mean, we don't capture that data, so I'm gonna guess. This is an educated guess. Robin and Geraldine can chime in too, but I'm gonna guess maybe mid-30s is the average age. What do you guys think about that? I'm not sure.
It's a big range. I think
Yeah.
I end up like conversing not all, but I'd say a good amount of new folks will be like, you know, folks in their 20s who maybe are just out of college, who've just moved to New York City, and to talk with them about their experience. It's really cool to sort of relive that excitement about, you know, I've just moved to New York City, you know, I'm from XYZ. But then, yeah, I think there's a lot of folks in their 30s. There are, you know, cough, cough, plenty of us in our 40s and even 50s. And I think it's kind of cool. You forget that, and it really, like, you can really just like chat with anyone. It sort of breaks down, you know, in other places in the city. I think if you're at work or you're, you know, even at a bar, like you're not, the ages just don't mix the way they do at Run Club, and it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it's not, I mean, the thing is sometimes I look at people and I assume that they're around my same age until they say something like, you know, when I graduated from high school in 2018, and you're like, oh, slow, let me go away. And I go, wait, that can't be. How are you? Oh, okay, I guess you can be working and have graduated from high school in 2018.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I made my first marathon in 2018.
I've learned some social things too, like recently, I forget it was, but Alex said something like, I'm shipping Usher to you or something like, or whatever the phrase is. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. Maybe he had a typo, you know? And then he's like, oh no, that means like I'm manifesting this. I'm like, what? You know, so it's really fun to be like, okay, teach me these things.
Oh yeah, that's new to me too. Then I just learned that just right now. So okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. So when they were watching the Super Bowl.
Exactly. But that's beautiful. I mean, I think, you know, our run club, Spartan Sunday Run Club is somewhat diverse as well, but our age range is much older. Our average age is probably in our mid 40s. And we have more people in their 40s and 50s, and even 60s, and we have like maybe no one in their 20s, to be honest. So, you know, the fact that you're attracting younger runners is great. That's something that we're actually trying to do better at. And I think that's one of the things that will continue to let Bedstuy Flyers grow. When you have a younger population who can come in and be a part of that thing, you know, as it moves forward, then you're set for the future, and that's great. That's great. I think, like Tara, like you said, one of the things that we talked about earlier, and we talked about this, I think, ongoing over the last couple of months, if not the year, is the accessibility to anything that is free. I mean, walking and running is a free thing. Everyone should have access to it, and we all have access to go out there and run. if you wanted to right now, which is the beauty of being in America, and it's the beauty of being especially in Brooklyn. So our club is also free, and I think that we will always continue to maintain that. And I think the best clubs that do that are successful in doing that, because it just lets everyone know that we're trying to share the gift of running, and anyone's welcome. We're not talking about what class you walk in, or what category that you come from, economic or otherwise. This is a freedom that we have. The ability to move is a gift, and we want to share the gift with everyone who's able to do that. And I salute every run club that does that, because again, we're able to run since we're 3, 4, 5 years old, and there's no pressure or anything on us at that time to start running. So to charge anyone for that as we get older for things that we've been doing since we're 5 years old doesn't make any sense. And the same way I give PT tutelage like I did for you, right, Robin, on the track. There's some people who say, well, you know what, I'm not going to do anything because I'm not getting paid for that. It has nothing to do with those things. We're just talking about the gift that someone's given you, or the gift that you earned, to share that with somebody else and have somebody else be able to progress. So I salute you guys for doing that. And I wish more run clubs did that, especially in New York, where we know that accessibility is tough for a lot of people. But like you said, with that kid who literally was like, what do you mean it's free? And I wasn't there, but I can imagine that his face and their faces lighting up to say that, yo, I can come here every Tuesday and Thursday and rock out with you guys for free, because there's nothing in the city for free. And if it is for free, there's a catch to it. So
Yes.
I think it's great that you guys are doing it. And again, it just bodes well for the longevity and the beauty of this run club. You guys are doing it well.
Yeah, I don't know if Sean, if you met Jazz, she's relatively new, young woman. She showed up to the track for her. The first workout was when it was closed, probably about a month ago, when it snowed.
Mm-hmm, right.
We got a bunch of upstate New Yorkers on this call. And Robin knows what snow is too. But she showed up. We were gonna cancel. We weren't sure if the track was gonna be open, and the group split into two. So part of the group did hills nearby, and like Ocean Hill, Brownsville, and then I stayed, and then part of the group did the perimeter. And so she came a little bit late after the group split up, but her mom dropped her off. She's young. She's like 18, I think 18, 19. And she's like, hi, I'm here for Bedstuy Flyers. And I couldn't believe it, because here is day one, this woman's showing up, and I said, so tell me about your running experience. And she had on like a street coat, like a winter jacket. And she's like, I've never run before. And that right there was just wild. So, she was mostly, we were walking. I walked with her a bit and kind of talked to her about form and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad you're here, but today is a day where we really just pay attention to our feet. We're not going to try running too much. But she was starting to run, and and I think it was because of the cold, and it was still snowing and yucky. And she was very, like her arms were sort of like really tight to her body and like straight and stiff. And I had enough conversation with her to know that she was studying, she's an artist and she's going to go to school for art. And I said, what do you see about the people that are running, like in our group? And she said, I can't believe how beautiful they all look. Like, how do I get my body to do that? And I said, well, let's break down the form a little bit, knowing that she had an artistic mind.
Yeah.
And I started asking her, and she's like, well, the first thing I noticed is that their elbows are bent. And I said, exactly. I said, can you bend yours? And she's like, yeah, and it was just really fun to break it down in a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she came back to the track, when the track was open, like we've just continued to progress on that works for her, right? So I just know that she has this artistic mind, and it's really, I don't like having people compare to other people, but I said, everybody has a unique running style and pattern and form because of the way we are genetically. I said, but I want you to start noticing, patterns and seeing what feels good in your body. And it's been so fun to work with her. and I'll share one more quick Jazz story that also stays with me. Again, I tell you, I'm a fan of stories, but the last time she was at the track, and she's putting together a 400 now without stopping running, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But she said to me we were doing like run one, walk one, and I'm walking beside her, and she said to me, Tara, you're dead. And in 3 minutes, you're coming back to life. Or no, she said, you're going to come back to life for just 3 minutes. I said it backwards. And I said, okay. And she goes, what do you do with those 3 minutes? And I said, that's it. And she goes, yeah. And you have no control over where you're going to be. Like, you don't know where you're going to show up. And I said, all right, I have 3 minutes. I said, I'm probably just going to lay down and relax. Right. So she said, I said, what about you, Jazz? And she goes, oh, I'm going to run.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, what? And she goes, with those 3 minutes, she goes, I'm going to run. She goes, because that's what I want to do. She goes, I cannot wait to run. I can't wait to be a runner. And it's just like, that just stuck with me. Like I said, I don't know, I'm going to lay down and wait to be taken again. Like, and she's just, those 3 minutes are going to be, she said, it just feels like the most natural thing in the world to just move my body running. And here, this is coming from someone who doesn't run or hasn't run, and it just it's such a beautiful thing when you can help someone connect to that. So
Yeah, that's big time. That's big time. I love that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
yeah.
Listen, I know you guys meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm usually there on Tuesdays, but Geraldine, what happens on the Thursday workout? I know you guys are at Boys and Girls on Tuesdays, and what time is that, just for the listeners to know?
6:15, but show up at 6.
Right, that's right.
Thank you. 6:15 we hit the ground, so don't come at 6:15. Yeah.
So
And
on
then,
Thursday, it's
yeah,
pretty fun. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so Thursday is pretty fun because it's a new route, new adventure every Thursday. Tara selects and Nick select a playground. And so you pretty much know that you're going to go to a playground in the neighborhood and learn about the playground, learn about whomever the playground's is dedicated to or so. So you go to through the route. It's normally like less than 4. If it's more than 4 miles or so, they let you know. But what I really like about it is because I didn't realize there were so many playgrounds or so. I don't know if you just I don't know what it is. Maybe you're just in the hustle and bustle of being in New York and trying to get from point A to point B, so you don't recognize all the playgrounds and all the history that you learn as well. I learned like there's a Grover Cleveland playground. There's just so many different ones, and you learn about the vast history of the area. So that's what we do on Thursdays.
Yeah, I always miss Thursdays. I'm mad about it. But I always see pictures of you guys hanging out, and then you're chilling after. So who decides where you guys are going when the run is over?
Now we have
I don't know. It just ended up it's usually Quarto, which is on Halsey and Tompkins. Because they were one of the few, they were, I think, the only place that was open through the heart of the pandemic, and they welcomed us. So that's one thing that's kind of unique to Bedstuy Flyers, is that we continued to run through the pandemic safely. Like, we were all on different sides of the street and sidewalk and whatnot. But so I think Quarto became sort of a home for us because they were open through the pandemic. And then once the first of the month, we go to Black Star Vinyl, which is a block away from where we start and finish, excuse me. So, and we support Martin at Black Star Vinyl, which is really fun. That's a very cool shop that's more than just coffee. You can get books and records, and so it's just nice to support the community in Black-owned business. And yeah, Martin loves when we come by. He opens up a half hour early for us, so we hope it's a win-win. But
Yeah,
I know Robin probably has stuff to say about the playground.
Oh yeah, so it's funny, as opposed to Geraldine, I notice playgrounds all the time with 2 kids. So playgrounds are like a lifeline to New York City parents who don't have a lot of space. kids need to run and climb and work out their energy. So on like one benefit for me is that we've run to a lot of playgrounds that are sort of beyond our immediate neighborhood that I never would have known. And then I've discovered like, oh, kids, guess what? There's a brand new skate park at Broadway Junction. Let's check it out this weekend. And they're just, I don't know, playgrounds are really special in New York City. And I think even more so in the pandemic, you know, for a while they were padlocked, which was really awful. But when they reopened, it was the most joyful thing. So I think culturally, for those of us who have kids and those who, you know, eventually will have kids, they're special spaces. And as Geraldine said, hearing the history, oftentimes it sparks discussion. Like, why would you name a playground after this person? Or, you know, what's the history? And we have, you know, usually Kristen or Alex will research the playground, and it's not just who it's named for, but what was the land before that, you know, in the early days of New York City, and even before that, you know, what was on that land. And I think it's a nice trait.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I have a 8-year-old, soon to be a 9-year-old daughter. So yeah, I know the playgrounds for sure. Lifelines, absolutely. Especially when schools were closed. What?
Oh God, yeah.
we're at all the playgrounds. But yeah, I think that's, you know, as I continue to watch the pictures that you guys post on Thursdays, that's beautiful because it again gives back to community, and you visiting the Black-owned businesses in those areas. I mean, you're feeding into the community. I think a lot of people, a lot of clubs, they'll come in and they'll be in the area, but they won't give back to the area. They won't support the area. But you guys are actually doing that. You're actually connecting with people who are in the area and supporting them, not just in terms of your presence, but also in terms of your finances. And that to me is huge. And you know, one of the things that I think was I was curious to ask you about, you mentioned in your bio about equity and diversity and safety in regards to creating this running community. And I was curious, a lot of clubs talk about this, but you know, why are those things so important to you, to Bedstuy Flyers? And how have you cultivated that culture into the Bedstuy community? Because Bedstuy, as you know, back in the day was very different than it is now. And it's amazing to see how it continues to change. And the running club has also been a part of that change. So, you know, what are some of the things that you guys think about when you talk about equity, diversity, and the safety in terms of being a part of the Bedstuy community?
You know, Shaw, I think for me, what I think of is just having people be able to show up and feel comfortable. And that's really hard to, I don't know, that's hard to promote. I think it just happens. I think with a lot of, and this is my personal opinion, I think there's a lot of words that are said about equity or diversity. And I've never been one of those people to really speak much on that. Mostly because I'm white, right? So I mean, I don't feel like I can really speak a lot about how people are feeling. But my feeling is just show up and be good to people, no matter what they look like. And maybe that sounds too simplistic, I don't know. But that's always been just who I am as a person. I feel like I try to meet people where they're at and also just want them to feel comfortable. You know, I really think it's something that just has to be done and lived. I know that right now, you know, the words are what people look for. But I do believe that the most important thing is to just really show up and be there for people and truly make sure they feel welcome. And if they don't feel welcome, then know about it or hear about it. Like, be comfortable enough to hear what's not working. Because I think that's also part of it too. You know, if there's someone who's feeling uncomfortable, then I would hope to know about it. I would hope that the person would feel okay to approach myself or Nick or somebody. So I guess for me, it's really about living it as opposed to just some words. I mean, of course, the words are on our website and I do believe them, but I think, you know, to build on the fact that I really try to, and I can't make people do this, but I really try to make sure people understand that we are a space where people are going to lift people up. I don't care if you're walking. I don't care if you're, as fast as can be. That means nothing to me. What is most important to me is that people show up in the body that they have and that day, and they feel supported for being there. I mean, Geraldine, you are the perfect example of this. This is another one I won't forget. When you showed up one Tuesday and you said to me, I'm just really not having a good day. I'm doing terrible at this workout. Like, you were very hard on yourself. And I get that as an athlete. Like, you demand more of yourself. And you looked like you were ready to leave the workout because you just were really upset with yourself. And I kind of just was quiet. And you said, you know what, I'm gonna make this better. And then those two guys who were not part of Bedstuy Flyers that day, I need to find this video because it's the most brilliant. It was so fun. I mean, she was Sean, really hard on herself. Like, I shouldn't even be here. Like, this is going terribly. And I'm like, okay, are you hurt? I wanted to make sure she was all right.
Right.
And then she says to me, no, you know what? The time is not over yet. We still have some time. And I'm gonna make this worth it. I'm gonna do something that's gonna be special. And I'm like, okay. There were two guys that were probably with NBR. I don't know who they were with, but they were very fast, very, very fast. And they were, I don't even know what they were doing. They were doing 400s or something. And she's like, you see those two guys? She's like, she said, when they run by me, I'm going to keep up with them for the rest of the way for that 400. I went, okay. And I don't know. I took out my phone and she starts to run, and probably about, 100 meters in, these two come sailing by her, and she stayed with them the rest of the way. And they were just like, wait, what? And it's the most beautiful thing, because it just was, no, I want you to feel comfortable. If you have a crappy workout, that's okay. We all are going to have those, but that was a beautiful example of like, no, I'm going to show up for not just myself. I'm going to show up for the people that are here, doing the work. And it was really cool. So Geraldine, I mean, I just think of that and say, I want people to feel comfortable saying like, oh, this is terrible. Can I modify? Can I, feel safe in the space that you're in, and the body that you're in. And we all have so much going on in life. Whether it be health troubles. I mean, I certainly have had my share in the last year and a half. Whatever it is, financial things, like everyone's got something going on, family stuff. And to just try to be supportive in a way that maybe we're just not saying anything, we're just there. It's really important to me.
Yeah.
I want to speak quickly on the notion of safety, because I think that can mean a lot of different things. We do have, I think, several LGBTQ runners. I feel like we're a safe space there. Like, come, as you are, and talk about yourself and your life and your family and your partner and your experiences. But I think it's also important as a woman who runs, like, we're in the city. Sometimes we run in the dark. A lot of stuff can happen with encountering other folks, but even traffic. And I think being able to run with this community, we're looking out for each other in a variety of ways. That means like emotional safety, physical safety, any number of things like that. So I think having that support in a number of ways where you can show up and be together is important to me. And I think a lot of the folks in the group.
Yeah. Anything you want to share, Geraldine, about that?
Yeah, the safety, I think, is just as you mentioned, as a woman, especially running around that neighborhood, as I mentioned before, used to be just a solo runner. And it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I've had some run-ins with people, or someone would say something that wasn't welcomed or so, and I managed to like deal with it. But when you're just running with two people or on Thursday runs, it's a different experience. And I like that a lot, because then I don't feel like, okay, wait a minute. If something does not go well, if someone approaches me or says something that's not correct. Because literally there's multiple times people are say like, oh, I'm gonna run with you or something, or someone just starts running. Actually, someone literally at one point I was running and he was running behind me. And I could sense it, and that's why I don't run with music or anything. I turned around, see this man coming after me and everything, and I then ran towards him because I figured that at the speed at which he was running, it would take him a bit, to stumble and change course. And other people were there, and I just kept on screaming. I was like, "That's not funny. That's not funny," because I've learned that saying help or what have you actually gets people not to help you. So I was trying to use different types of words or so. But if I was running with a group or so, then it's a bit different. So I think that not only is our group colorful, but also, as you mentioned, LGBT people as well. So I think that that's important. And also when you're not feeling just wonderful, you don't need to get there and be like, oh, we're all doing, sub 3:30 marathons, or we're doing this and that and everything. There's a place for everyone. If you're saying, hey, I want to do a sub 3, we have people who in our group who just sub 3. And if you're saying, hey, I'd rather run and walk it, and no one gets left behind, I think that's one of the most important parts as well. Because there are times where I was the one saying, yes, I want to do this, sub 3:30, or I'm going to do sub 3:40 or what have you. And then you get injured and you're like, oh, but I didn't feel like I then didn't have a group to come to on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm injured now. I know I can still show up and say, okay, I can still be here. I can still be here. Doctors approve me, and not feel like, oh, I don't have a tribe anymore.
Yeah, no, that's big. I mean, again, it all bodes well to the leadership I think you guys have here, and the culture. I always equate run clubs ideally to places of worship, whether you believe in that or not. And it's very similar, right? The fact that someone can come in as they are, be welcomed, be able to benefit from the people around them and share their gifts, share their talent, join a family every single week, a community. It's what New York City should be doing in various ways, and this run club is definitely doing that. And the one thing I've been asking every club on this show is how they're going to be more in 24. Everyone wants to do things and strives for greatness, and I know your club has also goals for what they want to do to be more in 24. So what's in store for the future of Bedstuy Flyers, and maybe even as individuals to be more in 2024?
We so we have now a Slack channel, which has been really helpful at just communicating some of these broader things that are going on. I think we're looking at maybe some partnerships with I don't know if it's brand partnerships, but just the ability to do some things that maybe we didn't do before. Whether it's hosting an event or hosting a social event, or maybe even money that can help contribute to physical therapy, or things that are expensive for people, that maybe we can create like a little bit of a fund based on the generosity of a brand that's willing to partner with us. So we're sort of in the exploratory phase of some of that. And then, we would always love to do something for boys and girls high school, which is where we run. And, I think we can try to be on their radar a bit more, as far as like, when are there meetings about, the conditions of the track? And it's a little bit confusing how that stuff all goes down, but if we can solidify some of that as, hey, we're here and we're happy to contribute as best we can, because our members would support whatever if we do a fundraiser for the track. So I think we're looking at that. And then for me personally, how do I be more? I think working with Jazz recently, I know I've mentioned her a bunch on this call, but just really showed me that to not only just show up, but to really listen, just really listen to people. I think sometimes when it's pitch black and it's cold and it's, and I'm shivering, I tend to, I don't know, like the energy goes elsewhere. And so sometimes I have to just really focus in and say, what can I what can I learn from this person? What can I do to make sure that they're feeling safe and having fun and that they come back? So that's, for me personally, what I want to do is just really deep listening, more so than maybe I have.
Yeah, sounds good. Robin?
So I think for the club, I want to echo what Tara said really about Boys and Girls High School. I really want to be able to work with them as a community partner. I think being a public school parent, you know, my kids have been in schools that sometimes even as a parent, I did not feel welcome there in the school, at the school. So for their staff to maintain that track for us and open it at 6 a.m. for the community is a big deal. And that's a space that the community benefits from. So I would love to figure out ways to show them our appreciation for that and to figure out like, how can we as vocal neighborhood residents help them get what they need for their students. And it's, you know, Boys and Girls is the main high school there, but there's other, you know, smaller high schools in that building. So what can we do as residents to support our public school community? And then personally, so as I mentioned, I had a stress fracture last year, which took me out of a bunch of races, including the Chicago Marathon, which was going to be my second ever marathon. So I'm working with a coach, and I have signed up this year for the most races ever. I've signed up for 8 races, including Chicago. I'm going to try it again. So that's my running goal. And then in my professional life, I actually was just promoted at my job. I work with Brooklyn Public Library, and I'm now the executive vice president of external affairs. And I'm really excited to grow into this role. And I'm a public servant at heart and really excited to serve the people of Brooklyn in bigger and better ways.
Awesome.
Congrats, Robin. I didn't even know that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So for me, by 24 and more, first I'm with Robin and Tara in terms of the Boys and Girls Club. And actually, I meant to let you know that I do have a contact at the Boys and Girls Club. Because last year we were really working hard to connect with them and trying to find out who, and that's when we learned that there are multiple high schools within that one building. And I was talking to a friend of mine from college who actually said, hey, just to let you know, I'm now the principal of one of the schools there. So I just messaged him actually. I was like, well, yeah, we have to talk about that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come to fruition, that we do something meaningful to show our thanks and appreciation. Personally, so last year I did I finished the 6 World Majors marathon. So I was very happy about that. And unofficially right now, I don't know if there's anyone else. I was the first Haitian American woman to do so. So I was very happy about that as well, trying to give up you. And but I got injured doing all those marathons really quickly because I did I did not realize I did 3 marathons in like 5 months. And until I started limping. but so what I'm trying to do this year is do more strength training. That's very, very important. Do more strength training, get myself strong, and maybe then Robin and I can both go to Chicago because I did register for Chicago. I want to do that one again, so that I can see how I can have improved in time.
That's incredible. Congratulations on that. That's amazing. And yeah, I'm trying to get there too. I got 4 down, so we got 2 more to go. So
Gosh, you guys are incredible.
I guess I'm gonna have to spectate Chicago this year, it seems like.
Yeah, everyone's going. Everyone's going.
Awesome.
So final thoughts, ladies, about just how people can get in contact with you, what the website is, or the Facebook group page. How can they reach out to Bedstuy Flyers to be a part of your great community?
So Robin made our beautiful website. It's bedstuyflyers.com. That's spelled, so Flyers is Flyers, like your hat is showing. So, and then also Instagram at Bedstuy Flyers. And if there's any questions, people can reach out through the website. And then also we post our workouts on the Instagram the day before. So for the Tuesday morning workout, I post it on Monday. And for the Thursday workout, I post it on Wednesday. So we have people from all over, like I have this gentleman in Ohio who does the Tuesday workouts, and he'll write back like, oh, that one was tough, you know. And that's
Yeah.
amazing to me. It's like, I don't know, that's really cool. And then on the website, you can also, there's a gear page where people can purchase sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff like that to support us. So
Awesome.
not mandatory. We are free, but if you want to support, that helps with some of our admin stuff. So
Yeah, amazing, amazing, folks. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You made it fun for the books, and I appreciate you all, Robin, Tara, and Geraldine. And I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesdays. I'm gonna try to get to Thursdays at some point in time, but Tuesdays for now are gonna be our day to be together. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
thank
us.
you.
Of course. And folks, they said so many poignant things today. This is one of my favorite clubs, and I don't just say that because it's down the street from where I live. I literally say it because they are the embodiment of all that I think running clubs should be. They're equitable, accessible, diverse, friendly, family. They give back. It's fun workouts, they're challenging workouts, and it's really a great community to be a part of. So if you are in the Bed-Stuy area or just want to be a part of the Bedstuy Flyers community, go on their website, go on Instagram, do the workouts as I do, and send them out to my clubs as well, and just be a part of this great group. And don't forget our quote from today by Bill Russell: commitment separates those who live their dreams from those who live life regretting the opportunity they squandered. Be committed the same way they're committed to their community and committed to being out there no matter what's going on, rain, sleet, slow, hail. They're out there every Tuesday and Thursday. And it takes that commitment to be great. It takes that commitment to be more. And I just encourage you to be more, as we're all trying to do, be more in 24. We'll see you next time. Have a great week. Peace.